We are things I found online and exciting news to report live at this moment in time and in history. Joe Cipriano is stuck in traffic.
I am stuck in traffic. Oh my gosh. But I'm on Mulholland and I'm close and I should be there soon. But this is Things I've Found Online with me, Joe Cipriano, and Louise Palanker.
Uh-oh.
He warned us. He warned us.
Special guests are Chuck Duran and Stacey Aswad.
Yeah, I
Join
know
us
those
always
guys.
as radio legends explore the internet. Well, look, there's Chuck and there's Stacey. I love them. Louise.
Thank you, Joe. He warned
You're
us that just as he was about to do the announce, he'd be at the top of the canyon and be losing signal, and just it completely paid off as planned.
I called it.
You called it.
Thank
but
goodness
we have
for lip reading
for the last
skills.
20 minutes we've been watching this excellent programming where Joe drives around in a snappy suit. Cut to that, please.
Yes, thank you.
It's absolutely captivating. I couldn't look away.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wish you were here, all of you.
Well, we'd be a car full of fun. That's for sure.
We're here
would.
and you're there,
Yeah.
Are you
And I'll
driving
be
for
there
Lyft?
soon.
and you'll be
You
here
just
soon.
didn't tell anybody? He's picking up extra bucks on Lyft.
He's driving for Lyft. Who you got in the back of the car?
Don't tell. Here,
Oh,
I'll
I
show
forgot
you.
that was
Oh,
classified.
it's the Invisible Man.
It's the Invisible Hooker. Wonderful.
Oopsie daisy.
Actually, I'm driving for Lyft and Uber. I'm double dipping. Yeah.
There you go. Well, we can't wait until you get here, and
Thank
we're
you.
excited about it. But meanwhile, we're going to talk about you. Pretend you can't hear us.
Yeah.
All right. I won't.
Stacey and Chuck. Does anyone ever refer to you as Stacey and Chuck, or should I begin today?
It's generally it's Chuck and Stacey, I guess.
Yeah.
Chuck and Stacey. Yeah.
And
Chasey,
it's in
Stuck.
alphabetical order.
Oh, you guys have a
Chasey
ship
and
name.
Stuck.
You guys,
Yeah, short Stuck for short.
okay,
Yeah.
I love it. So thanks for being with us. You guys are really, really in the business. You have so much going on. I can't even
Oh
believe
my God.
you're here with us today. How did you fit that into your schedules?
Well, when Wheezy and Joe call, you come.
Hello.
So
And I'm not even there.
I know.
Now, I read up on your bios and everything because they have that all online on the internet. Because Chuck is here. He's a voice-over and imaging specialist. Link.
Wow.
And there it is. Does that look familiar? Did you build that
Demo.
website?
Dun, dun,
I
dun.
didn't build it. I had it built.
It's time.
Demos that rock.
Yeah, and in your
He does his own
demos,
sound effects.
there's a lot of things that get smashed in all your demos, really.
Yeah, I like to smash things up.
Do you?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well done.
Sound
it
effects
interesting, yeah.
specialist.
So you guys are, so explain what that means. Someone goes to that website because they're looking for what?
Well, I mean, basically, if you read the first line on that page, it basically tells you what it is. But I produce demos, voiceover demos for people in the voiceover industry or people that want to get into voiceover industry. So whether somebody's at a certain level and they just want to up their game, they'll come to me and I'll help them up their game. Or somebody just freshly wants to break into the industry and do it right, then I help them do that as well.
You're their guy.
And Chuck is the top demo producer there is in the voiceover
I
industry.
second
Thank
that.
you, Joe.
He's
That's
very
nice
humble
of you.
this way.
He's-
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
And did you know that, or do you remember, because maybe you don't, that Joe speaks from experience? Can you
I
crack?
do.
Can-
I do voiceover.
Yeah, he
from time
does.
to time.
Can you crack open the next
And,
link, John?
Chuck and Stacey.
It's a true story, Joe.
Yeah.
That
Oh, look.
There it is.
There I am.
Yeah.
It's a viral sensation, this one.
it really is.
Of demos that rock today.
Right.
We're going to show you the
Look at
process
those
of
two.
making a demo with somebody really,
How
really
cute are
special.
they?
We've never done this before,
They're
and
the
you're going to dig
cutest.
it.
Yeah, so this is kind of a new series we're going to be doing here
It's
and
a
there.
verite.
And our guest today is
We were
someone we
nervous.
love as a friend, but he's so inspiring because he's always staying at the top of his game. You know him, you hear
Yes.
him all the time.
Who are we talking about?
Joe Cipriano!
Joe Cipriano!
And here's something very familiar.
Has arrived.
Joe driving.
Let's go see
Yeah,
him.
in
If
a
you
car.
remember from
Joe
earlier in the
driving.
In
show.
a car.
Be in the car.
We can't see your Lyft logo with the top down.
Oh my gosh. There I am.
Thank you.
So this chit chat goes on for a good long while.
Uh-huh. He's
I
a
was watching at
talker.
home.
He's
You can
a
skip
talker,
ahead.
that one.
You can skip ahead, and
To
then
the
you guys
action.
can tell us. So he was coming in to kind of like refurbish his demo.
Yeah, because he
We did
just
a whole new one from scratch. A commercial
So
demo.
what happens? You come in.
Brand new.
well, here, let me just give you a little backstory because
down, Chuck.
Joe had booked this massive commercial Taco Bell spot. Everybody knows Joe from doing promos, not necessarily commercials.
Eating
and he just
tacos.
booked this giant Taco Bell spot and said, maybe I should be tapping into this commercial world because that was
Hello.
good money. So he came in and we actually did a commercial demo from ground zero, and he ended up with something I believe was really, really fabulous.
Yeah, because Chuck sits down with the client, whoever they are, for a long time. Really gets into what they want to accomplish, where they are, what their signature sound is, and really dissects who they are as an actor, as a person, so that when he gives me the information and I write the scripts for this person, we are giving someone a custom demo that really reflects who they are, what they do, and how they can best serve that work that's coming to them. So for Joe, I mean, I will say, and I would say this if you were here too, Joe, he's so open.
Well,
he's
is here.
such a pro.
I can hear you.
Oh, I'm not there, by
I
the
could
way.
slap you. But he's such a pro and he's so open. I mean, and he could be saying, oh, I've been around for decades. I got this. He was such a joy to work with because he just said, whatever you think is best, whatever I need to do. And that was really exciting. And I think that's what, when a lot of people watch the video, they really love that, to see someone who's a seasoned pro who's saying, great, put me through the paces. And he worked hard and you really directed him and he took it. And it was, I think the product is amazing.
Well, yeah, thanks. And well, Joe is amazing. And I love working with pros. But I love watching pros be like normal, everyday people who mess things up and don't get it right the first time, and like being directed. And Joe just loved being directed. He's just that guy.
He is, and Joe kind of exemplifies this, one of my mottos, which is be a lifelong learner.
Yes.
He's very open to it all the time.
Well, and that's why he's as successful as he is, I believe, because he's always learning. I mean, even today, like Joe is like always researching and doing stuff and just learning about the business because things are changing on a daily basis.
And we're going to get into that a little later because I have a lot of questions about the whole
High
voice.
five, Joey.
But the first thing
Bye.
I want to get to before we get to more voiceover chat is that Chuck, you are the lead guitarist of the band Rock Sugar.
This is
I
so
am.
great.
And this,
love it.
I think this complements your brand really nicely. Do you have that video?
Smithereens. Pour yourself a shot of rock sugar. See why critics are calling Rock Sugar adrenalizing, spellbinding, and the ultimate rock experience. Rock Sugar, because pop rocks.
So, Rock Sugar, I don't know the last time you've been on your website, but I did some exploring, and the backstory to Rock Sugar is quite the epic tale.
It is an epic tale. Yeah.
Should we wait till you're here, Joe, before we tell?
Yes, I'm actually will be there in less than maybe about 5 minutes.
Listen.
Oh, beautiful.
All right, so you go ahead and explain Rock Sugar. Apparently, you guys are, what you like to do is mashups.
We do mashups,
Yeah.
exactly. And we basically take people's favorite songs and we get them drunk and they become one song. And but the cool thing is that our theme was, because we are rockers, is like everything that we do stems from like 80s pop metal. So when we actually came up with the concept, myself and my partner Jess Harnell, who's one of the big guys in the animation business, we were toying around with ideas of mashing up, not for money or to make a band even. We just wanted to create something that was like kind of fun. And so the first song that was created will be actually the video that you're going to play. And it was so funny because you know how sometimes you do the first thing that you do something, you get really, really lucky and something amazing comes out. You go, wow, this is really easy, right? And so we created this mashup on the first video that you're going to show when you show it. And that it was like two pieces of a puzzle just were like, wait a minute, they fit. And so that became the template for the entire record.
So is it similar chord progressions?
See, a lot of people think that, right? And in this instant, it was. And that's why I thought, oh my God, this record's going to be the easiest thing to make, which, by the way, it wasn't. That was false, because it's very, very difficult. A lot of things come into equation, but some people think, oh, so as long as you have something that's like the same tempo maybe and the same chord structure, then bam, you have a mashup. And that's not necessarily true, at least not the way we did it. Because what we did is we worked the other way. We said, okay, what are the best 80s pop metal songs that have ever been written? Brump. Hey, it's Joey!
Hey!
Wow!
What are you people doing in my bedroom?
Oh, buddy.
Hi.
Oh, and Cipriano is here as well.
Hey.
It's so exciting to have you here in person, and you two are color coordinated. So pick up your scripts.
Oh, boy.
Because we're going to,
Here you go.
there's a backstory to how Rock Sugar
Take one and pass it down.
came
Thank
to
you.
be. It's
Yeah.
like the Bible. People read it religiously, the story.
Yeah.
And
Hi,
we're
guys.
going to play,
Is that- oh,
if
wait,
you
is
don't know
that-
how Rock Sugar came to be, this is their rich history that children study in schools
Yes.
that your taxpayer dollars go towards. So playing the part of me will be me. Does everyone have their script?
I have my script.
Yeah.
We
You have your
open-
script? Chuck, are you familiar with what a script is? Stacey, you know.
In fact, Joe,
Yes.
I brought my own script
He's got his own script. I
Yeah.
love
because
that.
mine's got markings on it. You know,
open-
Got the
We open at C.
Oh, she's starting. We
In
open at C.
1989, Rock Sugar was presumed lost forever after playing an extremely ill-advised gig celebrating the bat mitzvah of a 13-year-old named Lisa Rosenberg.
I'm not going to do a character voice.
Okay.
Mazel tov.
Oh,
The
was that
show
character?
was performed miles to sea aboard the private yacht. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Pick up.
Glasses.
We need sound effects.
Wait a minute. Pick up. Where's the
we
who
need
can
sound
make
effects.
water?
Waves.
Here we go. The show was performed miles out to sea aboard the private luxury yacht of Lisa's father, Schnapps millionaire Shlomo Rosenberg. Assuming that Rock Sugar was some innocent boy band, Shlomo only knew his extremely spoiled dollar that the guys were really cute. So he figured she must have
Totally
loved
cute.
their music. Well, she didn't. And judging from the stunned expressions on their faces, neither did her prepubescent little Jewish friends.
Pop filter. Shortly after the chorus of Rock Sugar's second song, Nail You Like a Hammer,
Yes.
a drunken and violent brawl broke out involving the band, the rabbi, a clown, the captain, a guy in a Smurf costume. The ship struck an undersea stone wall, and Shlomo refused to let Rock Sugar climb aboard the life rafts to safety.
Wow.
The horrified rockers discovered that the only music available for them to listen to was little Lisa Rosenberg's very pop, very 13-year-old girl's very 80s CD collection.
And so the hardcore, degenerate, heavy metal members of Rock Sugar spent the last 2 decades stuck on an island with nothing to do but drink schnapps, catch hard-to-digest wildlife, befriend monkeys, and dream of their long-lost groupies while listening only to and being slowly and systematically brainwashed by every favorite pop song of the 1980s that was loved by a preteen girl. Against the odds, Rock Sugar was alive, and they were practicing.
Fast forward 20 years. You look good.
Thank you.
When a tuna boat with a screwed up compass discovered a group of long-haired castaways on a deserted island far out in the middle of the Pacific. Finally rescued and now violently thrown back into the real life of present-day Los Angeles and its traffic. Rock Sugar is back and ready to electrify audiences with their brand new razor-sharp, psychotically original sound.
So, prepare to have the line between pop and metal blown to smithereens and pour yourselves a shot of Rock Sugar.
Dang.
And here is just a
It's
little
my
taste.
imitation of
Let's hear.
Joey.
That was good, Chuck. Stace,
Do a promo
awesome.
demo.
Louise, stunning.
I worked at it.
Yeah. Are we hearing it?
I think it's another link, John.
This will be all fixed
This is
in
it.
post.
He's got
Oh,
it.
this
Yeah.
is it. I hear it.
I didn't do those
This is it.
seagull
It
sounds for
starts
the
right
video.
now.
No, they ADR'd those.
Are they real seagulls?
And now we came home, and here we are.
Let's see.
Don't stop the Sandman.
Do you want to act
Rock
out,
sugar.
Chuck? Do
Rock
you want
sugar.
to air guitar it for everybody? Just
Look at
say
him.
that it's real.
Just look. Here it is. I have to tell you, ironically, about this song.
Is that you, Joe? Trying
that
to focus
it's
the
ironic
camera?
or ironically? What?
Ironically, this song was used at the beginning of the Tom Likas show.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Live from Los Angeles. Here's Tom Likas.
Those are some hairy mermaids. I'm just saying. Coming out of the water.
Hairy mermaids.
Let's see, Chucky. Here's Chuck. Ooh, look at you
See,
guys.
was it cold that day?
It was windy.
Jess.
The wind is good with hair.
Sponsored by Pantene.
You don't have to rent a fan.
See the flip?
Oh, it sounded like it was going to be one thing and then it was another thing.
That's called a mashup.
That's a mashup.
Metallica, Journey.
Metallica right into Journey. Mm-hmm. John would appreciate
Okay, this is timely. Who did we see at Gelson's yesterday? Swear to
Metallica?
God, buying pickles and baby snack packs
Steve
of carrots.
Perry.
Steve Perry.
No,
Stop.
really?
Swear to God.
Yeah.
It. That's
Wow.
awesome. Thank you,
Pickles
John.
and snack carrots.
At your Gelson's?
Yes, at
Wow.
our local
Wait, what were the
Gelson's.
2 items?
Pickles
Yes.
and snack packs of baby carrots.
He's pregnant.
He stood this
Yeah,
close to me.
and a
I was
pregnancy
buying,
test. No.
I was buying different greens.
Yes, you were
I
buying
love
greens.
my
Sure you were.
plants.
Yeah.
And he was literally right there. And I'm like,
Vegetables. Oh, my.
we just saw him in the pickle aisle.
Yeah.
And then there he is again with another pickle-ish item, snack.
And did you
pack-
say don't stop believing in fresh produce?
Well,
I
I
was like-
thought I
I
told
was gonna
Stacey
say-
you should have like gone up next to him and
Okay.
started singing to him like a Journey song.
Yes.
And have him been like, yeah.
Dang.
But no.
That's how you get discovered, you know,
Yeah.
in the pickle aisle of Gelson's.
That's so
That's
exciting.
hysterical.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anyway, that's
I-
just a little non sequitur.
What is the
No, it's-
typical rock sugar fan? Like when you imagine, okay, we're making and producing this product for, you have to picture that one person. Who is she?
They are just cool freaking people. I swear. You know, one of the cool things about Rock Sugar is that we've literally had the opportunity to open up for giant bands
Huge.
like AC/DC and
Yeah.
Aerosmith and Def Leppard. And so
Not at Gelson's. Like
not at Gelson's.
No.
So with that comes like these, giant audiences. You're playing in front of 60,000 people.
Amazing.
So when we went to England and opened up for AC/DC, we were on this massive stage and people were going crazy because they knew who Rock Sugar was because of, viral YouTube.
Yeah.
And I remember after the show, I was thinking, I'm going to do something outrageous, something that I'll never forget because I'll
Doesn't
probably
sound like you.
I'll probably never get to do this again. So right after the show, I remember as soon as the last song ended,
Yeah.
I jumped off the stage. I went to the very front of where all the people were, and there's a barrier with guards and all that stuff. And I started high-fiving everybody, right? Running all the way down. And this one little kid, this little English kid says, "Excuse me, can I have your necklace?" And I was wearing a Rock Sugar necklace. And
Whoa.
He's so polite.
And I took
Right?
it. I
With
took
an
it
English
off.
accent, it's polite.
I took it off and I put it on him.
Wow.
And he just started gushing in tears as I ran off to give everybody else a high five.
Oh,
And
my God.
I know, but all the people that we've ever met with this band are just normal people who just love.
By the way,
great
that
music,
kid
whether
today
pop or rock.
is Daniel Craig.
There
Daniel
you go.
Yeah,
Craig.
it
There
is
you go.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
But what also is cool is that it crosses generations. So you'll see parents that were hardcore Metallica fans with their kids. And so, like, what's great is this, it really is not a band where, that's like your parents' band or it's too millennial. Or
It's just so joyful.
everybody can enjoy
It's
it.
just like recklessly joyful.
Oh, it's a kick.
It's so great.
Yeah.
They are so
Yeah.
good on stage.
And the second album is going to drop later this year.
It
Stop
will.
Oh,
It's
yeah. Second album
bananas.
coming later this year for sure. It's really
I
cool.
like playing his
One of the great
publicist.
things that I love about Rock Sugar is that it kind of brings like the pop the pop culture and the metal culture together.
Together.
So you look out
In one
into,
room.
You look out, you look out into the audience, and you see this metal dude with long hair like this, banging his head, and he's actually singing like lyrics to a Madonna song.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we
Paula
mashed
Abdul.
it with like AC/DC, and we're looking like that dude is singing Madonna, first time ever.
Love it.
You really are a healer.
Yes, he is a healer.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It's really,
yeah.
It's
yeah,
kumbaya
tiny tear.
with
Yeah.
guitars.
that is
I'll take
just.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Very
They
should.
just played. When was that? Last year you were on the Sunset Strip at
at the Whiskey.
At the Whiskey. That was
So
was
when
great.
you guys were rescued from the island, apparently you've been dipping into some bat mitzvah playlists, because we have this next link and it looks like it's Adele. Which
Really?
we have an Adele
Oh,
mashup.
yeah, this is a new
Yeah.
one.
Is this on the
Joey.
new
Yeah,
album?
this is a teaser for the new record. Yeah.
Whoa. Jess Harnell, Chuck Duran.
Shredding.
That yeah.
Mickey Caputo.
Mickey.
Thank you.
I think if you have hair like that, you have to wear that hat by
You
law.
have to.
Oh yeah.
It's not attached
It's
to the
cool.
hat. He often says they're separate.
Okay.
Just to clarify. Kevin Haffler, the drummer.
Wow.
Song flips.
Ooh, was that from?
Wait a minute. There we go.
Ah,
Please, sir, may I have your necklace?
Yeah. So we're literally still playing the verse of "Rock You Like a Hurricane," but
Right.
singing Adele over it.
Oh my God, that is so
How do you?
cool.
I don't even know.
He's
you
a
dream it and then
wizard.
wake up and go, write it down.
Chuck
No.
is like Harry Potter with mashups, and we'll be in the car, and we're always blaring music, and like at the red lights, like, "Ah!" And so then he'll go, wait,
Hold on.
wait, that Asia song? Oh, wait, okay, no, that's gonna, and he has this. His ear is amazing, like he can hear.
You can hear it. You can almost hear
air
if they're going to work or not.
supply
It's
and,
really,
you know,
really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Hey,
really cool.
photo op.
But
Candid.
Get Joe too, because he's very handsome
please.
today.
Oh, please, no.
So I wanted to ask you, Stacey,
Yes,
it's time for
please.
us to focus on you.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Is that okay, gentlemen?
I like talking
Stacey
about
time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
Stacey,
Oh wait, let me just get this. What?
Stacey Aswad.
Aswad.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a Z, but it's not.
Yeah, it's like
It
a
is.
silent Z.
Yeah.
Stacey
It means
Aswad
black in Arabic.
is a Juilliard-trained dancer and 5-time national champion in artistic roller skating. Stacey is also a voice actor known to her friends as Small and Mighty. And I can personally attest to that, as she
Yes.
is in my physical presence.
I eat
She's
like
a
a crazy
versatile
person.
voice actor in commercials, video games, narration, and animation. Stacey has been the face of Walt Disney World for the past 13 years.
Woohoo.
So do you have that link, John?
Aha, John.
Oh God.
Time to do
Now-
the must
Oh,
do's.
look, there's
Yay, beauty.
That's Stacey
It's
J's
like multiple
website.
personalities I've got
Yeah.
going on there.
Yeah.
Huh? What? Hey, hi.
And those were
All
Those
those
are the thought
expressions. Yes.
So Stacey, you're the voice of Disney, which means when I check into my opulent Disney suite and
Yes.
turn on my opulent Disney television, this is what I watch.
There I am.
Yes.
And you're
there
telling
is
me
Stace.
where to
Yes.
go and what to do and how to do
Yes.
it.
24/7. On property, off property.
Now-
I was on the cruise for a while, but I think I'm off the cruise now. But yeah, so I am your host, this is how you get these tickets, and this is the latest attraction.
Now,
and
are we allowed to play any of that, or is that owned by Disney?
I mean, people have posted it on YouTube, so
Oh my
they
God,
direct
she has
capture it, and
fans.
so
This is
all
what I
over
wanted
the
to get
world.
to
they're
because
wonderful.
Yeah.
They're wonderful. They
Yeah.
really are magical.
people who
creatures.
are into Disney.
Yeah.
Lander World.
Well, I'm Disney
Well,
she's World.
I'm the world.
But I'm talking about the people that are into the park
Into
experience.
the park.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're a wee bit round the bend. No?
Well, everyone has their passions, right? So for some people, it's gadgets and gear, it's shoes, for example, boots, booties, flip flops. But for them, it's really what I think is very cool, and what I think is that it's literally this representation of the happiest times in people's lives.
That's
I
so
think
true.
what it
And I
is that-
love that. It's
Yeah,
like
that's
nobody is unhappy there, and everyone's kind, and it's sort of like my utopian world.
Yeah, I
everybody
think it's like Netflix
lovely.
binging. It's not really that they're round to bend. I was just teasing. It's like Netflix binging, which they say is like your brain shuts off and you're just in that experience.
Yeah.
So I think when you enter the park, you're just in that experience.
Completely.
Oh yeah, I mean finding the hidden Mickeys,
yeah.
and
And they just love
Yeah.
it. And
Yes.
the smells, the sounds, the everything. It's just.
And
it's,
she's been on every ride there is.
all right, so we
which
have
is-
her.
There
Oh,
she
look at
is.
her.
There's
Oh.
Stacey.
How many outfit changes are we going to get to experience?
Oh, you do get to see a
There
few.
was several.
Must do.
Yeah.
Here we go.
There it is.
There it is. That's
It
a
had
good
nothing to do with Disney, though, right, Joe?
Chuck
No, it had
Duran,
nothing to do.
you are a special man.
So you get to go to the front of every line, right?
It's pretty fun.
Can I go with you to Disneyland?
Yes.
Louise,
You'll be
I'm
sorry.
going
Different
to
experience.
demand my handler, Louise, must be with me next time.
You will
So-
be sorry you
It's
call
pretty
these
fun.
people around the
That
bend.
must be the most asked question. Stacey, can you get me in, or what can you do? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when we're shooting, when we're filming there, everything is timed like clockwork, and there's a whole part of the production team that rigs up the rides with lipstick cameras on the rides in the attraction, so that as I'm going by, I know I have to look at this camera or
Right.
my lipstick camera, and so sometimes I'll have to ride things 2, 3, 4 times. Oh, I love it.
I'm
She loves
sorry.
it.
And I have to do my dialogue, or they want me to ad lib differently, so we gotta go around again.
It must
It's
be
so great.
It must be really intense though, because I was watching and reading, and I was like, oh, I want to go to Disneyland with Stacey, and then I got to the part where it said we go to the park at 4 a.m. And I was like, no, I don't.
No, that's
I don't.
okay.
Yeah.
You
I'll
kids
meet you
go.
there at 11:50.
Yeah, we shoot at all hours of the day and night, and I did film once in Orlando in the summertime, and I didn't really think, because I've been out here long enough, and so I just think everything's dry heat, right? Oh my gosh, it's July,
Yeah.
and you know how you're so hot, you're sweating, you don't even know you're sweating.
Yeah.
And they kept coming up, and like it was like at one point I had, you know, the big sheets of paper towels in the bathrooms. They just like mummied around me so that sweat wouldn't show through my clothes.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
But it was
Wow.
fantastic. But no,
Yeah, they
I've
have
filmed there at
tricks.
all different times of the year, all different, like sometimes the things that are done at night are done at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So it just depends. But man, it's just, I thought it was going to be a year gig. That was the deal when they first hired me. It was 1 year back in 2005. So every year, 5505 is sort of, people call my Disneyversary. That's when everything went on the air. And
Can I tell a quick story?
Oh, please.
sure thing.
Sure
Back
thing
to
they
you,
got.
Jack.
As long as it's complimentary.
It's very complimentary. But
Involves
this is Stacey right here.
Okay.
So how long you been doing the show, the Disney show?
13 years.
13
and
years.
counting.
Okay, just last year or the year before, she just then found out that she actually had a teleprompter available
Oh,
to her.
that's great. Yes.
Up until then, the last 11 years, she
Memorizes.
every word on every piece of paper for every gig that she ever did for that show. And we're talking like pages. Among pages
Where
among
were they
pages.
hiding
And
this teleprompter?
She would just go up there and just do it. Well, one day,
Well,
Somebody
no, we're
asked,
in the,
right? Yeah.
We have this really fun Winnebago that kind of goes around. And so I've worked with different producers and directors. And so this particular director was new to me. And so he came in the Winnebago and said, hey, so the teleprompter guy needs to talk to you and just go over speed and fonts. And I'm like,
Teleprompter. What?
what? Is he? Clearly he's new. I'm like, what? And he goes, and so then the producer comes in and she's like, oh yeah, actually for the last 8 years, we've had a prompter for you, but you just kind of showed up and we're like, let's go. And so never acted like you needed it. I'm like, I didn't know I had it. So yeah, and then of course now I'm like, I can't be a slacker. I'd be like, but the whole shoot is handheld. And the wonderful DP is like 6'2". I'm 5'2". Even when they put wedges on me, I'm like 5'3" or 4. And so he's like this all over the place. So I wouldn't want to put that prompter on him and make it even crazier.
Oh, another
Because
thing for him to
I'm
wear.
twirling and running and doing all this stuff.
yeah.
So
This
now
is
I'm
his
like,
gig.
it's good
Well,
brain.
true.
It's
He
good
gets
brain
paid to
therapy.
do that. Yeah.
It's been extra.
My brain is
You're
staying
basically
in function.
docking him.
Yeah, so that was really funny. I came home, I was like,
Amazing.
oh. So those
So-
25 pages could have been written down.
When you're
Okay.
such a front-facing person for Disney, do you have to think about the rest of the image that you're portraying online as Stacey?
I mean, I think Well,
Good question.
That is a good question. I think more than anything, I think that I'm my parents' daughter. That's what I think.
So
good one.
And so for me,
Act like
my
that.
family is everything. My 4 sisters, my parents, so I want them, they're everything that I have and do and can say I am excited about, they made happen with their sacrifice and support and love to this moment. I mean, we speak every day. And so, hi, Mom and Dad.
So there wouldn't be anything online
so-
that your mom can't see anyway. So.
No, I mean, and for me, that's not who I am. That's not what I'm about. And so I have been told, I know Disney has noticed that. So I know they appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I just feel like what I'm going to put out there on the internet that's going to be there eternally, I want to be able to show anybody and say, yeah, that was me, or that's what I did,
Yeah.
that's what I said.
And
so,
plus, Disney does not really hire people that aren't very brand conscious with them
Ooh,
because
do you have a background check?
the minute that you do something, it's like, bam, see you later, bye.
well, they did ask me,
Like Roseanne.
Whatever.
I was going to say
Exactly.
how timely today.
Wow. Yeah.
Roseanne will not be taking my job, I don't think.
No, I don't think you have to worry about that. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
No, but
But you could take hers. It's totally
That
available.
would be awesome.
I would want to sage a lot first. but I mean, they definitely, I mean, they asked me if I had visible body piercings other than my ears and tattoos.
Did you have to think about it?
Well, I do have a scandalous 2-hole piercing in this ear, Louise.
Yeah.
I know, but not in this one.
You're asymmetrical.
Yeah, I know. But they didn't even ask me if I rode rides or got sick or anything. That they didn't ask me, which I thought was
That's
weird.
amazing
They don't
because there's
care
no
about
way
that.
I'm going to get on
As
a
long
roller
as you don't
coaster.
have a tattoo,
You don't do roller
could get
coasters?
sick.
No,
Joe
no,
doesn't.
no.
Chuck doesn't.
Poor Anne. My wife had to go on the roller coasters.
No, you
with our
have to
kids.
do Space
Yeah.
Mountain. It's so much fun. It's
Oh
like
my gosh.
flying.
Oh, Space Mountain, I
Space
love.
Mountain's pretty.
Yeah.
Listen, I told you,
Palatable,
I get
Joey.
nervous on Pirates of the Caribbean
Oh, that-
when it has that tiny
Yeah.
little drop. I go, yeah.
No, but they don't chase the girl anymore. It's okay.
Oh,
Space
Me
Mountain,
too.
you
Really?
can do. It's
Yeah.
a
Hashtag.
gradual.
yeah.
It's a
No, once you get
gradual-
down there, it's beautiful.
It's space, man.
Yes.
It's magic.
Yeah.
All right, so Disneyland fans, who are they, and do they
Disney
approach
Disney
you?
World.
World.
Oh, so you're not.
Come
There's
on.
a wait. You keep correcting me because there's a whole different lady at Disneyland.
Well, there is something at Disneyland, but it's not nearly like. And that's the big thing is a lot of people say, "Why aren't you at Disneyland
Oh.
too?"
Yeah.
So write your congressman.
Disney.
There you
So
go.
I have to
Happily-
say Disney
Congressman.
World.
I would happily do Disneyland too, but but no, I'm Disney World.
Okay.
Florida.
So,
Florida.
all right. What was I going to ask?
Uh,
So
fancy.
when people go to the resort and they stay in the room and they grow to know and love you, what do they say to you when they meet you or they see you at the park or at the grocery store next to Steve
Oh my
Perry?
God, it's like bumping
They
into
go,
a superstar.
Stacey!
Yeah. You should
It's
see the
very
tweets
sweet.
and the things that people write about Stacey
It's exciting.
and what it means to them and their family. You know, moms and dads writing, "Oh my God, we know we're in Disney World when we turn on the TV and there's Stacey." Yeah.
Sweet. It's
Yeah.
very sweet. And I mean, there's people that have said, oh, we got engaged there. You were with us. Or our baby is now starting high school and you've been a part of that. So everyone is
Wait,
so
what?
Wait a minute. No,
lovely.
don't go there. Disney World.
Louise, may we have a sidebar? No, but everyone is just, and like I said earlier, I am so honored and grateful to be a part of literally the happiest times in people's lives. It's amazing. And, you know, I feel so, and now with social media, the first couple of years, I wasn't really on it, so I didn't really hear it. And then as people kind of recognized me while we were filming, they would come up and say things. But now that we're all more connected, people are just amazing about it and so sweet and so kind. And
She's a thing people find online.
yeah.
She is a thing.
Stacey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna go. I was looking up because I know I have friends who are like this. Who go? I have friends who go to Disneyland more than once a week, for example. And so I know that there are those people that,
Oh, yeah.
for whom this is just a thing. You have the yearly pass and you have the
Oh, yeah.
parking.
Yes,
and
yes.
like one time I went and I came back and I was like, yeah, this was a while ago. I was like, yeah, it's Disneyland. Is it okay if I talk about Disneyland?
Of course.
Sure.
So I came back and I was like, yeah, I
Mickey's
parked
everywhere.
here in this structure. And this friend of mine went, you parked in the structure? Because it was brand new.
Oh,
And
I
like
see.
that was
Yeah.
a thing to
That
her.
was a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it used to be you parked out in the open at Goofy and
Yep.
you had to remember, and now it's like,
Right.
Well, and I learned from being interactive with people on Twitter and Facebook and the blogs and stuff. I learned a lot about what's happening there, and there's a lot of new stuff I haven't talked about or filmed yet, and I'm hoping to go back sooner than later. But I learn from them because there's people that know way
They're
more
on
about it than I do.
They're on it. So I found this site,
Exciting.
and it's called. Okay,
How to be
I call-
Stacey.
Disney groupies.
Oh.
I call them magic addicts. I don't know if they have. Do they have Disney World fans? Do they have a name? Do they have like a?
Huh. Interesting.
well,
And
Happy people.
magic chasers.
Yeah, magic chasers.
Magic
Okay,
chasers.
Awesome,
there
happy
is.
people. I
There's a
call them
place
happy-
online called Mice Chat. So
yeah.
So go to the next link.
Do you
That
know
was
Mice
they
Chat?
had an
Yeah.
article. There's Mice Chat,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's like kind of an old school sort of message board
Oh, yeah.
type of.
Right.
So we can click on something and just see what people are talking about.
Okay.
So
Yeah, there's so
Yesterland,
many.
is that site still up? I remember Yesterland being one of the very first websites on the internet where you could go and they had a map of the park and would show you all the rides that were replaced by other other
really?
rides.
Ooh.
Oh,
Are you
interesting.
familiar with that?
I'm not
Yesterday.
familiar, but there's like Diva's Dish. There's
Ooh, Diva's Dish. Let's try that.
There's all these great, and they've some of they have a lot of these guys have podcasts as well, so they've been lovely to have me on and just really cool. And then you have blogs that are about being vegan at Disney and how you can find things and how to handle small children. I mean, there's all these different blogs and podcasts that address like every need you could ever have.
And I
so
think you should
before
host
you
each
go,
and every one of those.
I do too.
I think so.
Yes. And a
Yes.
parade.
Mhm.
And
Our
thank you,
kiddies
Joe.
would love that.
Oh, put them in a
Like,
float.
yes, Mommy, yes.
So here's Yesterland,
Oh,
in case
here we
you
go.
haven't seen it.
All right, what's going on?
Oh,
on
okay.
So this is just a fan-produced site.
Yeah, but this has been on the internet, I think,
For
for
a
like 15,
long-
20
Ooh,
years
the
now.
candle
And-
shop.
And as you can tell, it hasn't been changed much. But
Yeah.
yeah, you
It's
can go to Captain.
vintage.
You can go to Captain EO, right?
Oh, I see.
It'll show
Sure.
you where.
I mean, you would literally have to update daily. I mean, there's so many
So much going on.
acquisitions and changes, and so it's incredible that they haven't even developed all the land that they have in Florida for Disney World. I mean,
how much time
there's
did
still
they?
room for more.
How
incredible.
much time do they
Lots.
give you? You know, where they say, "Okay, Stace, we're going to be shooting some new scenes," and they get you the copy, and you have to study it. Do they give you several weeks, or is it like pretty
No.
quick? No.
It's I usually get a couple of weeks. They'll say we'll check availability and they'll work out flights and all of that, and then I'll get the final script by maybe a few days before, a week before, maybe.
Really? How the heck do
And
you
then-
memorize that? Good
It
grief.
only takes her
And
about a
then
half
I
an
ju-
hour to
Yeah.
memorize.
Jeez.
Well, I'm a visual learner, which is helpful.
Uh-huh.
So if I can see the words on the page, I can almost just kind of memorize it. So as I'm filming, I'm like, oh, that was at the bottom left, second paragraph.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
That's good.
Versus like if you're speaking the lines to me, it takes me a lot longer.
Mhm.
So I'm like on the flight.
Yep.
And then depending, sometimes I've gone for 36 hours, sometimes I've gone for 10 days. It just depends on how much they want to film and what they want to do. So
and
They put her up in a Holiday Inn.
do they?
off property.
5-star Holiday Inn.
So Chuck and Stacey, you host a wildly popular video podcast called VO Buzz Weekly.
Can I just say,
Yes.
see how you've gone from Chuck, talked about Stacey.
Mm-hmm.
Now we bring Chuck and Stacey
it's
together.
like a balanced
Can I tell-
meal.
Yes.
You
Should I-
guys are
One.
pros.
It is a balanced meal,
Yeah.
and I would like to show you my secret.
Oh, that's very good.
And see
But
how I number it.
You didn't memorize
Wow.
it, though.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's
no-
it going so far?
I'm no
Are we
Stacey.
following
You know
the-
what? This is a rehearsal. We'll actually do the show maybe in
Oh,
about an
good.
hour.
Yeah, when Joe
Okay,
gets
good.
here.
Yeah.
I
When
wanna
Joe
freshen
gets
my lipstick.
So
The hologram, Joe's hologram will arrive.
Chuck and Stacey host the wildly popular video podcast called VO Buzz Weekly, featuring in-depth interviews with voiceover industry professionals, voice actors, agents, casting directors, marketing experts, and more. Do you have the link to that there? And
There
you
they
guys?
are.
You guys are on. You're on YouTube, and where else can we find you?
Well, we're on YouTube. We also have a podcast, audio-only version on iTunes.
Free
and
app, VO Buzz
We
Weekly
have a
app.
free VO Buzz Weekly app, so you can take us with you anywhere you go. And then also we have our website, which is vobuzzweekly.com, which all our videos are located.
And that's
there
where originally
as well.
you started out
Yeah,
there.
Yes.
originally we just started out. In fact, we kind of missed a boat, man.
Yeah.
Because we started out just on our website and we were hosting our own videos, and silly us, we didn't.
Sponsored by Live and Learn.
Totally sponsored by. That was
Right.
good. That
Yeah.
was good,
Yeah.
right? That's why you're the host. And I'm the co-host.
We're the-
And then years later, we find out, wait a minute.
We're like, what
We
are
should
we
be on
doing?
YouTube.
on YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
You had to subscribe. It was like 16 gates to get it. I was like, what are we doing? So a few years in.
But back then that's
That
how
was
it was
how-
done.
yeah.
Right, but it was
really.
also, we were really protective. Like, we didn't want, because we have all kinds of
your
people
content,
watching
yeah.
and demographics, and so we knew that there were kids watching, and it was very spammy at that time, and so we didn't want to have to sit there on the website every day taking off douchey comments.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So we said, well, let's make it, make people at least, give us an email, which we don't do anything with, but just at least give them, they have to do something more than just, if they want to make a nasty comment, they have to at least, subscribe. But a few years in, we said, oh, we got to let this loose. So we're only a few years on YouTube, and it's doing well.
It's really taking
we're-
off.
Yeah, oh my
we're
gosh.
very-
And I want to just ask you a really general question about voice acting. When we think of Hollywood and acting, we do think about on-camera work. How much work is out here for voice actors? In other words, are there as many actor waiters as there are voice actor waiters in Hollywood?
You're funny, Louise.
Yeah, she
Is it comparable? Because we don't always think of voice acting as a career goal, but
Yeah.
it is.
I'd love
I mean,
to hear
I started
what you
on
think about
camera.
that.
I started on camera.
Okay.
Dancer, and then on camera and all of that. And when I got out here, I knew I wanted to do voiceover, but I hadn't really focused solely on that just yet. I mean, I think that the cool thing is that voiceover takes away the physical aspect. So your gender, your size, your height, you can be purple and green and yellow. It doesn't matter. You can, I can play a 10-year-old boy. I can play a squirrel. I can play air. I can be an announcer. I can be, whatever. So on camera, obviously, there is a limitation.
But give examples. How much work is there? Because people don't always think about it. We hear the voices constantly, but we don't always think about it. 'cause you don't-
Voiceover is huge. I
It
mean,
is huge.
not just
I have
animation. It's
hey,
not just
I
radio.
have something to say about this matter.
Yes, go right ahead, Chuck Duran.
Since I know a little bit about
Yes,
this
he
matter.
does. Yeah.
No, but 10 years ago, I've been in the business for 30 years, so in the voiceover industry
You're
itself. So
experienced.
that's a long time. But I can remember that 10 years ago, voiceover was not a common word. Like
Yeah. True.
most
Yeah.
people didn't
Yeah.
even know that was a profession unless you were in it. So, but if you lived in Alabama, you knew what an actor was, and you knew that if you wanted to become a movie star, you go to Hollywood, right? So the acting business has always been very, very huge. And in the last 10 years, voiceover has exploded.
That's
so
what it feels
not only
like.
do you have actors going like, wait a minute, you mean I can do that
I want to
too?
do that. Yeah.
I don't have to get dressed.
No. And so you have actors
Truthfully.
now wanting to be voice actors, and also people that are like, you know what? The heck with acting. I want to be a voice actor. I don't want my camera. I don't want to be on camera.
Right.
I want to be off camera.
Yeah, no
So-
more early morning calls. You don't have
Right.
to be somewhere in
and
the
there's no
desert at 4 a.m.
limitations
There's
how
a
you're
lot-
aging, how you look.
Right.
It's really the purest form of, talent has no expiration date. Talent has no age limit. I mean, June Foray worked into her 90s before she passed away.
So what is it beyond?
But there's more than just cartoons. I mean,
It's video games. Like what accounts for the boom in voice acting?
well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, you hear voiceover everywhere. When you're on hold, that's telephony. Medical narration, corporate narration, e-learning,
E-learning,
all the
yeah.
explainer videos. So it's not just animation
Audiobooks.
and video games. Audiobooks,
Audiobooks, huge.
promos,
Gadget,
narration.
Siri, Alexa,
Yeah.
So there's all people all over the world that are making a living and doing voiceover, not necessarily in the typical animated series or animated movie or video game. So
Plus,
it's
yeah,
really
what-
very.
If you, I'm sorry,
the sky's
No,
the
I was
limit.
going to say, plus what brought the numbers in is, if you want to be an on-camera actor, you have to be in Los Angeles or New York or a couple of other cities. Voiceover, you used to have to, if you wanted to do promos, for example, you had to be in Los Angeles. Well, the reason why there are so many people and it's booming is you can do voiceover from anywhere. I mean, we're sitting here in the studio. You've got a microphone, you've got a computer, you treat the room. You no longer have to go somewhere to do voiceover. You can start booking jobs using online casting, and or you can be in Peoria and have an agent in New York City
Absolutely.
and Los
and
Angeles
lots of
and
people
work.
do.
Yeah.
Lots of people do.
Yeah.
And I always like putting it in this perspective. It's really, really cool. But in the United States alone, there are, I'm going to say this is probably not as many as there really are. So,
Right. This
but
may be an old
So
number.
this is a big
old
fat
number.
lie.
I'm going to say
Got
there's
it.
6,000 stations, right, including satellite and online stations and TV and radio. 6,000. If you Google it, it might be double that.
So they all need imaging.
But check this out. But check this out. In between programming, they're all playing commercials.
Commercials, yeah.
You know what I mean? 24 hours a day, 600, right? 365. So if you look at that, you say, oh my God, the abundance of work that is out there is incredible. There aren't that many movies being made.
But I think
Right.
Fred Savage hosts most of them, doesn't he?
Yeah, no.
Well, here's the
It's
thing.
like ironic.
I mean,
He grew up to be the guy who's the narrator.
Yeah.
And on his show, there was a narrator.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he aspired, and now he's there
Yeah.
talking about cars.
I mean, but I will say that the misconception is, oh, I can read, or oh, I have a nice voice, or it is growing so much that you have to be excellent, whatever you choose. I mean, you
Right.
can't just say, oh, I can do that. Anyone can do it. Anyone can't do it. You have to really treat it as a craft, treat it as an art, put your time and effort into it, train, study.
It's an art and a business.
Yeah, because you have to know what's happening in the industry and then also be able to deliver that. So just,
Right.
thinking, oh, I can read, or I can read
Absolutely.
without making
Louise,
mistakes,
doesn't
that's
this
enough.
sound like in the music world where if you have a computer and a microphone,
Well, there you
you
go.
can be a
Right.
rock star.
Right.
It's the same sort of
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
True.
well, and that actually does happen now, right? Where
Of course it does, but there's usually something special is what she's talking about.
Exactly.
You have to be
Yeah.
excellent.
Exactly.
It is really and that's why some on-camera talent cannot translate well into voiceover because
Right.
it's pure storytelling. You can't wait for the close-up. You can't wait for the snarky expression. You have to be able to find a way to put that into your voice. So a lot of on-camera, there are some that are amazing, and then there's some that they may want to sell tickets to that movie or that show, have people watch it. But the people that are really digging in, that are exceptional voice talent, are the ones that really get the nuances of, of the acting.
I'm gonna button it if we're buttoning with one little tasty little
We're
nugget
buttoning now.
of what's
I didn't know
happening.
there'd be
Of what's
buttoning.
happening. This is really really cool. This is
there's
for
that.
by the way, this is good news for the ladies out there.
For the ladies.
Oh.
For you ladies out there. So this past Super Bowl, and this has never happened before. This past Super Bowl, 3 of the major car companies that advertised in the Super Bowl, 3 of them used woman announcers.
Yeah, female voiceover.
And that's never happened. My friend Maurice LaMarche, who was the voice of Lexus for a gazillion years, just lost the gig to a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I've been reading some stats, and it's like where it used to be a predominantly male-dominated business, it is taking a shift. More women are being hired, and gosh, in the next maybe 3, 4, 5 years, it might be 50-50.
Yeah, that's
Just
awesome.
like
Meaning
in
that,
Congress.
meaning that
Yeah.
a lot more women are going to be hired in commercials and promos, narration, all that stuff.
Hashtag it's time for Stacey.
Hashtag let's
There we
rock
go.
and roll,
Hashtag
baby.
equal pay.
Because
Yeah,
most
come
of
on.
most of the
Yeah.
women running for office are named Stacey. Which
Should I'm announcing my campaign. What
Yup.
am I
Right
running
here.
for, Louise?
I
What am
vote
running
yes.
Please run for president.
Yeah, please.
okay, so
I'll
we
have
have
to see the closet in the White House first.
so we have a lot to talk about in terms of what's Twitter trending, because it was a very Twittery day, and just
Wow.
to give you some background,
Lot of stuff.
what's Twitter trending? Do you want to open it? That's a bird being hit by a car.
Oh, that's beautiful.
No, birds. We're
He's gonna be
harmed in the making
okay.
of that.
It's okay.
All
It
right,
wasn't meant
Louise,
to be
don't make
like
me come
that.
over
Yeah.
there.
So
look, it flew away.
hashtag Roseanne Barr.
Oh, man.
Twitter trending all day long. She, I'm just going to be direct so that we can open up this conversation.
Okay.
She tweeted a comment calling Valerie Jarrett, a former Obama senior advisor, the offspring of the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. Apparently that was what the tweet involved. The ensuing outrage launched her into apology mode as she tweeted, "I apologize to Valerie Jarrett and to all Americans. I am truly sorry for making a bad joke about her politics and her looks. I should have known better. Forgive me. My joke was in bad taste." So I just want to personally interject that although her looks should be off of any tweet table, Valerie Jarrett looks like this. She is a perfectly lovely person. And So I think that Roseanne was involved in her own silo of conversation on the far right about what they're alleging in terms of the Obama administration, what they did to interfere with Trump's campaign, which if they were doing that really didn't work since it appears that Trump is president.
And then what happened after that?
And then Roseanne tweeted,
yeah.
I am now leaving Twitter.
Right.
A round of applause from Twitter.
A little too late, Roseanne.
It was too little too
Because
late.
she doesn't want to hear. She doesn't want to hear the consequences of her actions. It's like,
And
exactly.
you're going to throw out that venom, and then you're going to go, oh, I'm now
I'm
going
off.
to leave the building.
Yeah, there's always that girl at the party, right, where she says the thing and then she just, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. But, we had some stuff to say.
The
So
backlash was unbelievable.
3
today.
hours later, ABC, which is owned by Disney, cancels the Roseanne
First
show.
thing I saw, Wanda Sykes resigns, head writer. And I thought, oh, wow, okay. And then I think I saw ABC cancels the show. I was like, whoa. And then ICM drops Roseanne Barr.
And then Sarah Gilbert.
And Sarah Gilbert.
Said, this is by no means a reflection of anyone in the cast and crew. She's
Right.
acting alone.
And she started to talk about, the amount of people that were out of work because of this.
It's horrible. I mean, when can we acknowledge that what we do, how we act, how we don't respond affects other people? I mean, hundreds of people have now lost their job. That show is renewed for season 2 already.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people now do not have work.
But didn't we know when we were first giving her a show that this was a very potential and probable eventuality?
Well, in the last few, every episode, there's always been some comment that comes back.
Right.
The next day, I can't believe she said that.
Sure.
A racist comment.
Which was part of the attraction, and I'm sure why ABC greenlit it. It's like, okay, this is going to be out of the box, and it's going to bring us a lot of headlines. But then that's what happens when you get too close to the fire.
Yeah.
They got burned.
But she's sort of a mouthpiece for normalizing Trump's mouthpiece, which was never normal to begin with. And, I have this theory that everything filters from the top. I'm sure any place you guys have ever worked, you have felt the mood of the place is definitely a reflection of
True.
what's coming from the leadership. And
Yeah.
so we now have a leader who believes it's okay to be openly racist. And Roseanne is definitely in his camp. And then you see the just kind of like the general conversation of the populace kind of rising to a level of like really, really wrong. And what I kind of liken it to is I kind of want to believe like, well, not all people are racist, but a lot of people are fearful. And so, if you have a president who's kind of walking around the plane and saying, everything's fine here, then you're just like, all right, well, I'm kind of scared of these other looking people, but I guess everything's fine. But like if you're sitting in your seat and the plane shakes and the stewardess walks up the aisle and she looks like she's fine, just going to get some cookies. But if the stewardess comes down the aisle and she looks scared, then we're all panicky.
Right.
And so that's what the country is doing. They're all panicky because Trump is up there screaming, brown people. And it's so unhealthy because we're, as people, as human beings on the planet, we're always pushing past our instincts to just want to surround ourselves with only people who look like us. And like, so what I would do in response to Roseanne is I would challenge everybody, even if you just see somebody at Gelson's or at the supermarket who doesn't look like you, talk to them. Like, can we stop being afraid of each other? Or fearful that they're coming for my job or that they're coming to marry my child or whatever. Like the thing that people are the most fearful of is like somebody of a different race is going to marry my child. Ironically, that's the one thing that gets people over their racism the fastest. If you have a grandbaby who's a different race, you're like, oh, never mind.
Never mind.
Everything, we're good.
Yeah.
It's just, people are just, you just want to.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Good
I'll
thought.
get off my
thought.
pulpit and let you people talk.
Let's applaud.
Do we have a sound effect for that? We need Louise's thoughts.
Yeah.
So what do you think? How do you guys feel about the way that ABC responded? Do you guys think that they were ready to respond in that way? Did they had that all kind of like
You know what?
loaded up and ready to go?
silly me, I thought, Fox is going to pick up the show. But once I
Fox
found out,
News is going to pick up the
right,
show.
exactly.
Our first
once
sitcom.
I heard what the tweet was, it was like, oh, done. This is finished.
Yeah.
They're going to stream it from the Breitbart side.
Yeah,
right.
I think what people don't realize is that, we're all entitled to our opinion, but a lot of people think nowadays that they can, like you said, that they can just say whatever they want and that it's going to be okay because it's okay. And, it's really not, I mean, there's a private place to voice a certain opinion about something, whether it's personal or not. I see people posting on Facebook about like some huge thing. They just had a procedure they had done,
Oh, yeah.
which really isn't like, it's like, this is your family thing, man.
Yeah.
It's like, scar
Yeah.
close-ups has to stop on Facebook.
I mean,
Your child coming out of anesthesia may not appreciate that.
yeah. And if you don't like the way somebody looks, then I guess that's okay. You are entitled to that opinion, but do you have to share that with the world? Because you know that a gazillion people are going to be like, we don't agree with you. In fact, maybe more people will not agree. So I think what ABC did is the right thing, only because they don't need Roseanne. Nobody needs Roseanne. Nobody needs anybody. These companies are so big, you have to walk the right line. You could be edgy and do your thing, but it's like there's a line. And if you don't know your bar, no pun intended,
Good one, Chuck.
if you don't know the bar, then you just need to like relax a little bit and just be cool.
Yeah.
And I think it just comes from when people, they live in a vacuum. I mean, she's always been somebody who goes, yeah, whatever. That's what I think. That's what I feel. Oh, that hurt you? Psh, you'll
Right.
get over it.
I'm going to say whatever I say, and you have to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think,
Yeah.
I get it. You don't want to censor somebody, but it's like, occasionally we've had people make a really unkind comment. And you're like,
Yeah.
would you say that to my face?
No.
I think now we get to hide behind
Well,
our
that is-
memes
sure.
and all these things where it's just, can we not just be kind?
Yeah.
Be
I know that
kind.
sounds so simple, but can't we just be
It
kind
is.
to
I
one
have an
another? Don't
idea.
we all thrive more when
Ooh.
we're all
I'd
kind
like to
to
call.
each other?
I'd like to call
Could
on
you
Chuck
kindly
Duran.
call on Chuck?
Yes,
Oh.
Chuck. He's got
I
his
have an
hand
idea.
up. Yeah.
Next time you want to post something mean about somebody, how about you instead post something nasty about yourself?
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah.
Something that you don't like about
Chuck,
yourself.
that's
Right.
called going into stand-up comedy.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Chuck will be
We'll
appearing
start
at
with you,
Flappers
Weezy.
on
No.
Saturday night.
So here are some
Catch him at Flappers.
flappers. Catch them at flappers.
Catch
Here-
me in Flappers tonight all night
That's
long.
right. everybody.
Here is an interesting tweet that came in from Mrs. Betty Bowers. She tweets, it's such a delicate balance to be just racist enough to cash in on the MAGA demographic and make the network money, but not to be too racist enough to drive away advertisers and lose the network money.
Yeah.
Interesting slant. Slade tweeted, pretty cool to see all the patriots rally around Roseanne, who made perhaps the biggest mockery ever of the national anthem. Now let me just click on this hashtag take an e-tag and see what that's all about, BRB. And our comedian friend Kathleen Madigan tweeted, I'm sick of unfunny shit being called jokes. I work hard at jokes. So let's not use it was just a joke when you just want to say fucked up shit.
I love that.
And everyone knows that I don't usually curse, but when it
You
comes
don't.
to quoting Kathleen Madigan, you
Well,
got to
you
just
gotta
go.
swing
Yeah.
for the
Yeah,
bleachers.
totally.
Yeah. And you put a hashtag in front
And
of
that,
that. away
that
you go.
was a
Right.
great
Yeah.
tweet.
Yeah, by the way, YouTube just censored your video from advertising.
Yeah.
Just because those few little words right there.
Say naughty, Louise.
Speaking of naughty,
Yes.
Facebook feed time gets
Oh.
really naughty.
Facebook
Can you
feed
open that
time.
one up for us, John?
Everybody.
Oh. There it is.
It's like your typewriter getting hit by a tree.
Yeah.
Facebook feed time.
Are you
Snap.
slamming my sound
No,
design?
I love them. They're so good. I actually just adore them. So Virginia Tavera writes, I've watched this 27,000 times because this kid is killing me.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have that link, John? I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's a little British girl, and her mother's asking her who bit her
Who bit her?
on the forehead.
Yeah. Have you seen this, Ann?
Turn it way up.
Who bit your head?
Chucky. Fucking Chucky.
Oh God.
My head.
Who bit your head?
Chucky. Fucking Chucky.
Oh God.
My head.
Who bit your head?
Chucky. Fucking Chucky.
Oh God.
So maybe the only thing funnier than kids with a British accent is kids cursing in a British accent?
That's not a kid. That's a baby.
That's like a tiny
Yeah.
human. Like she's a baby. She's an actual baby.
See how we've progressed from what was it? Charlie bit my finger.
Yeah.
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 Fucking Charlie. So Natasha Good, these are the
Charlie.
comments. Natasha Good writes, hold the bus. Why isn't anyone commenting on the fact she looked like a gangsta when she said, fucking Chucky?
She does look
Steely-eyed
scary.
killer. Bet
Yeah.
her parents aren't worried when she grows up to be a teenager. She can hold her own, I bet. LOL.
Gosh.
Cursed Vickers writes, why do people think this is funny? It's bad parenting and not funny at all. Disgusting. I'd love my 7-year-old to say that to me. I'd take his head clean off.
Oh my.
Like
Well,
that's better than
Wait a minute.
like
Well, but
beheading
I mean-
children is
That'll
okay.
make Fox News.
But you do have a moment as a parent
Mixed messaging
when
there.
that happens and you go, oh, let me film that, to publish. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that I would
Yeah.
do that to my
That's
kid.
what I was talking about.
Because the kid's going to grow
Exactly.
up someday and, you
Yeah,
know,
she is. And that's she's
Like,
going to Google herself and she's just going to see that on
what's
on
the
a loop.
end goal of that? I
Right.
mean, like, what are you trying to get? Endorsements for your kid? You're trying to get Gerber food?
Yeah.
Like, what are you
No,
trying
Like
to
even
when
if
she's
she goes,
what is
seven,
the...
she
she'll
goes
have-
on Ellen, you have to bleep her.
Right, so I
Right?
guess it's sort
It's
of
not
like
much.
what's...
You can't
She's
do much
probably
with it.
already been
Yeah.
on Ellen though.
Yeah.
really.
Wow, Joe, you look really
don't
good on
know.
camera.
Joe looks really
Really?
good. Lisa,
Yeah, look at that.
Lisa,
Wow.
That
Costume.
celery
How are
top.
you? Hey,
Did you go
fantastic.
tanning?
Love you.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
give me just a moment to read a couple more great
Oh.
comments.
All
Lisa
right.
Costume.
Louise wants to swear some more.
Oh, people, get a grip. For the love of Peter, Paul, and Mary. Yes, if you swear around your kids, they will pick it up. Don't swear. Tell them it's wrong and then get the fuck over it.
Oh,
it's
my
hilarious and I
gosh.
can watch this all day. Kai Kane writes, everyone blaming the mom for what her daughter said? I think we're all forgetting who the bad person is in all of this. Fucking Chucky!
I thought for sure you were going to say Trump.
I'm
Present
sorry. I
company
laughed.
excluded.
Is
It
that
was
okay?
not this
Oh, you didn't do it,
Chucky.
Chuck. You didn't
No.
bite that baby on the forehead, did you?
Well, I hope that baby wasn't talking about me. No.
When you were in
forgot.
England, did you bite the baby?
I think so.
Oh my god! Did it
So-
taste like chicken? Sorry.
So what do you guys think about recording your child saying something like that? Like you were already kind of weighing in on that, Stacey. Is that good?
I mean,
or-
I just remember growing up with some privacy. And I was talking to a friend the other day about that, and we grew up with privacy, and we didn't have every single moment. I mean, I get the benefits. You live far away from family. You can publish photos. I just think when you think further down the line, how is this going to... I think when the kid doesn't have a choice, they don't have a say in it.
Right.
Either they're under anesthesia.
Yeah.
I keep going back there. Or they're too young to actually be complicit and say, yeah, that'd be great, Mom. I love that. I just think then you have to, as a parent, decide,
Of course.
is this necessary and who is really the benefactor?
You're the guardian,
of
for
this?
God's sakes. You know, it's
I would
unbelievable
err on the
that
side
you can do
of, I
something
mean,
like
I don't
that.
even post pictures of my house. Like, I just think there's privacy. Privacy
Yeah.
is a nice thing.
Mm-hmm.
The
As
only
we sit
pictures
here
of
on
our
the
house
internet.
on the internet is because Joe was taking selfies when he was over there.
You do post pictures of your kitty cats, though.
Yes.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
they're fabulous and
Yes,
they
they
are Instagram
and
stars.
they don't
you know what?
swear.
They don't curse. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they pose. They go, oh, did you want me to cross the paw? And I'll turn this way now. Yeah. No, but I think that the child should have a say in what goes out there of their content.
Well,
Their
let's
too, they're not going to know that it's wrong or that it's weird for a long, long time, and then they're going to have this memory
Yeah.
forever of
Yeah.
sitting there with their parents. I've even seen on YouTube, it was some comedian, and they had their toddler propped up, and they were making him say curse words, and I was just like, this just doesn't feel right.
But I kind of like to flash forward sort of like 90 years, and this woman is booked for, you know, lots of like corporates, and they just wheel her out, and she's like, fucking Chucky. It's like, it's the fucking Chucky baby.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she never amounted
like,
to
where's
anything
the
more
beef,
than
right?
that.
Where's the beef, or what you
We got
talking about,
fucking
Willis?
Chucky.
Yeah, you got, you know,
Louise.
that's the catchphrase.
And
Yeah.
she's going to delight millions for just eons.
I don't know. Maybe I'm old fashioned, but I just think that kids are so.
Precious.
I mean, they're
Vulnerable. They're
but I mean, I see
yeah.
my nieces and nephews, and I see my friends with kids. It's like they grow up so fast. It's like their youth is like a minute long, and I just feel like the longer you can keep them
You know what's
innocent and precious, I think what's wrong with that? It's not like they're going to miss anything. They can catch up.
I think it's interesting now, and I think young parents are starting to get that. Because I noticed, you know, our daughter has a little girl, 1 year old, and they'll post pictures of her, but not in an Instagram post that's going to last forever. They'll just do the story, which only lasts for a little bit. So you get to share what's going on in your life and show what your child is doing, but then it's only there for how many hours is a story up for? I'm not
24.
even sure. Is it 24?
I think.
Yeah. And then it's gone,
But is there an option to save it to your own phone so that you could have a scrapbook of it
you
later?
could do
Or
a
some
screenshot.
stranger
It
to
just seems
save
like
it
a
to
lot
their
of
phone?
work to put into something that's going to disappear.
Can a creeper save it to their phone too?
Unfortunately, yes.
Hey.
Yes.
Yes.
You're absolutely right.
It's just questions that bring up so many more questions. We're going to have to push this over to another show.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Is there anything you guys want to plug before we say goodbye?
We did want to mention we have a new platform.
Yes.
Because, we had a slow week, so let's start another platform.
Let's do something else.
It was a Wednesday. No. We get a lot of people from different parts of the country, different parts of the world that don't have access to legit, amazing coaching or home studio gurus. And so we said, how can we fix that? And so we created a platform called opencoaches.com. And Joe is a part of it as one of our amazing coaches. And it's really a vetted site of people that are incredible at what they do in various areas of voiceover. We have one-on-one coaching, and now we've started a Zoom room where you can have interactive webinars with 10, 15, 20 people. So that is, there it is.
There it is.
It's free to join.
I was just going to say, there's no charge.
There's no charge.
For
You
anyone
create
to be
a
a part of it.
profile so that you can have access to the coaches. They can see who they're potentially working with. And then the only time you pay is if you book a session or a webinar. But it's great. And you can use it anywhere you live. So like you don't have to travel somewhere. You can work one-on-one or in a group situation with a legit, amazing coach or home studio tech
Yeah,
guru.
it really gives talent, what we were talking about, talent are scattered all over the country, all over the world, gives them the opportunity to work and learn from people that have worked in the biz and really are legit.
Yeah.
People that
coaches.
are working in the
And that are in the
currently.
now of the
Yeah.
business. They know what's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Joe is one of our super popular
I
coaches.
dabble.
He's super
one
popular.
One of the things, and I'm not putting anybody down, of course. This is not intended.
Oh, is this going to be about me now,
No,
Chuck?
no.
Geez.
But I just wanted to add this because this is so true. And I mean, I don't know any of these people, but I know that they're out there. But you have some people out there that, they tried to become a voice actor. Maybe they live in, I don't know, wherever, Chicago, LA, whatever. And they couldn't make it work. Mm-hmm. So they became a coach.
They become a teacher.
And so now they're teaching other people how to not make it in voiceover. That's the only
It's
way
true.
that I could look at it, right?
So
So it's
true.
really weird. All the people on Open Coaches, besides being vetted and great at what they do, these are people that are not only have had, but are having tremendous success
Yeah, whether
in the
they're a
business.
producer,
So you are
director.
learning how to become successful.
Yeah, in the current industry. So
Absolutely.
It sounds
Yep.
fantastic.
Opencoaches.com.
Opencoaches.com. Sounds like it could also be a ride through Central Park, doesn't it?
yes.
Open Coaches. Thank you.
Yes.
You know what?
If you're into multitasking.
And if it's
Yeah.
cold, you'll get a blanket for your lap.
Aw.
Louise.
There you go.
How
Oh,
cozy. I want
And
to
you can
thank
swear if you want to, Louise.
oh, look.
Cue the music.
The music has begun.
I want to thank everybody for being with us. Joe Cipriano,
Hey.
Chuck Duran,
Chuck,
Stacey Aswad,
Stacy,
and Cipriano,
Annie.
Thomas Hubble, woo! His friend Lane. What's your last name, Lane? Lane McFadden.
Lane
Ooh,
McFadden.
wow.
Ladies and
John
gentlemen,
Maddox.
Sounds like a rock
Jasper
star.
Maddox. I am
Yes.
Louise Palanker. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share our lovely podcast because we want to be your new favorite podcast next to Chuck and Stacey's one.
Thanks for
Two
having
favorites.
us.
Thanks for being with us, and we will see you next
thanks
time.
for
Bye-bye,
being here,
everybody.
guys. Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye,
See ya.
everybody.
Kisses.
Mwah.